Hey everyone, it's Mr. Fisher, and today we are going to be making paper bridges. Now, a bridge is a kind of structure. Now, you have probably heard that word structure before. I mean, when we've built things in kindergarten and in class, we've probably, your teacher probably said, "Oh, look at that structure that you built. Wonderful." And structure can often mean that. It can be things that we've built. It could be a place that we live or work in. Our apartment building is a kind of structure. The school that we learn in is a kind of structure. But the word structure can have another meaning, and that can mean the frame that is holding that object together. Our skeleton is a kind of structure. It's what helps give our body its shape. If we did not have our skeleton giving us structure, we would just be this blob on the floor going plop, 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 plop. Have you ever seen a building being built? And yet, when they first started, and you can sort of see inside the building, and you sort of see all of those columns going up and all those beams going across, all those crisscrossing pieces of metal, that's the structure. That is what, and that's so important because that's what makes that building strong and stable. Now, in my class, we have talked about force. Force. And force is like a push or a pull that is acting on an object. So for instance, I'm giving pushing force to this marker. And now I am pulling the marker. I can pull this marker apart with pulling force. I can push the cap back on with pushing force. And structures have to deal with all kinds of forces. But the biggest one is gravity. The force of the earth pulling all of us towards it. Gravity is a part of what makes things heavy. That mass, remember when you talked about mass, how heavy or light things are? Gravity is always pulling things down, like this block. Right now, this block is being pulled down. It's sort of pushing against my hand. The gravity is pulling this down to the ground, but my hand is supporting it. But if all of a sudden my hand was not supporting it anymore, it falls. Now, when this weight is on a structure, that is called a load. Load. So a load is basically the weight that a structure has to hold up. And different structures have to hold up different kinds of load. A chair, the load on a chair is a person, right? A chair has to hold up a person. Your building that you live in has to hold all of the people that are living in that building. That is its load that it has to hold up. A bridge has to hold all those cars and trucks that are moving across it. That is the load that it needs to hold up. So we're going to see how a paper bridge responds to a load. Now, as you saw in the description, you are going to make your bridge out of 5 pieces of paper. So I'm going to take my 5 pieces of paper. I'm going to count them just so you know I'm not cheating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces of paper. And I'm going to make my bridge across my supports here, and I'm going to take my load, this block right here, and watch how this bridge supports the load. I guess this is why people don't make bridges out of paper. I wonder if there's something we can do to the paper to make it stronger. Now, a lot of times when people are trying to come up with ideas, they look to nature. let's think about something that's strong in nature. A tree. I mean, trees are sometimes stand up for hundreds of years. Now, we just talked about 3D shapes. What 3D shape is a tree? So we know that it's long like this. And we know that it's round all the way around. What is the name of that structure that is round and straight and tall like that? A cylinder. Now, I wonder if a cylinder might make our bridge stronger. So I'm going to take one of our pieces of paper and I'm going to roll it into a cylinder. Okay. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of tape, and for this activity, a little bit of tape is okay. Not too much. You don't want, we're trying to see how strong we can make, how strong paper can be. We're not trying to see how strong tape can be. So I'm just going to use just enough tape to help this not unroll. And to save some time, I took two others and put them here. So there's 1, 2, 3. And 4 and 5. So we're still only using 5 pieces of paper. I wonder what's going to happen. Well, let's see. Let's put it on. What do you think? You think it's going to hold up? It did it. Do you think it could add another? Do you think you could add some more? It's rolling a little bit. I don't know how stable this is. It took 3. Oh my goodness. So we could see that cylinders can help make a structure stronger. Now, I was looking at another strong kind of paper, a piece of cardboard. Now, cardboard is made out of paper just like these sheets of paper are. But let's take a look inside this piece of paper now. You're going to have to give me a sec while I try and focus this up here. Oh, we're almost there. Come on. Phone camera. We could do it. Almost there. Anywho. So we can see that inside it seems to have paper going up and down and up and down and up and down. It looks like, oh, there we go. It looks like a roller coaster, doesn't it, inside with paper going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. I wonder if that is part of how they make this cardboard so strong. And I wonder if we can use that same up, down, up, down, up, down pattern to make our paper bridge even stronger. What if we took one of our pieces of paper and we folded it kind of like a fan? You've probably done that before, right? Where you fold it one way and you do that fold and then you turn it over and then you fold it the other way. Back and forth and back and forth. Now again, to save time, I've already done that with another piece of paper. Here we go right here. You can see that same up, down, up, down, up, down that we saw inside the piece of cardboard. So if and again, we're only going to use 5 pieces of paper. We're not going to cheat. If I take that 1, 2, 3, and I'll just put that on top, 4 and 5. There we go. I wonder if this can hold up even more. Well, to find out, you're going to have to do it yourself. I cannot do everything for you. That's what's fun about this, is experimenting yourself. You don't want to watch me do everything. So your activity, using 5 sheets of paper and a little bit of tape, you are going to build the strongest paper bridge that you can. One other rule is that you cannot tape it onto your support. That would be cheating. It just sort of has to rest on it. You can't tape it onto it, okay? Now, one question is, how are we going to measure how strong our bridge is? Now, when we talked about mass, we talked about how we measure using units. You might have used little cubes to measure how heavy or light something was. And cubes are a good unit because they're all the same weight, right? They're all the same size, all the same weight. So we can count very easily how heavy something is. Now, if I try to measure my bridge and I decided, okay, I'm going to use 1 block and 1 roll of tape and 1 dice and 1 marker and 1 shoe. Are those good units? Well, no, they're all different. They're different sizes, they're different weights. That's not a good way to measure. So you are going to use units that are all the same. And they could be something like dried beans or dried, like little noodles. Things that are all about the same size and the same weight. You can see I use these little blocks, which might be a little bit heavy, but at least they are all the same. So you're going to use those to measure how heavy your bridge is. Now, when you're done, I would love for you to take a picture, shoot a video, so we can see how your experiment worked. And this is the most important part. I would also love for you to write about your experiment. What were your ideas? What did you think was going to happen? What worked? What didn't work? Please write about that stuff so I can read about what you did. That's the most interesting part for me and for your teacher, is about what were you thinking when you were building these. And last, don't give up. As you saw from the very first structure that I built, sometimes you are going to build a bridge and it is going to fall right away. And that can feel discouraging, especially if you've put a lot of thinking into it. But remember, all of our bridges are going to break eventually, right? Because we're putting lots of weight on until they break. So don't get discouraged if it breaks the first time. That just makes you think, okay, what am I going to do differently so that it gets even stronger? And then what can I do to make it even stronger? And then what can I do to make it even stronger? That, again, is the most exciting part of this activity. I can't wait to see the ideas that you come up with. Bye for now.